Hey folks, back again with another vlog. This is Steven Universe Season 4, Episodes 5 and 6, Future Boy Zoltron, and last one out of Beach City. So, Future Boy Zoltron is an episode that happened. The Mr. Smiley, Mr. Frowny thing was okay. I never noticed before, but Mr. Smiley wears shirts that look like bowling alley carpets or Jake Sisko. Which Jake Sisko basically dresses in bowling alley carpets. If you've never seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine, for the first 5 or 6 seasons, I think he kind of grows out of it eventually, but for the first 5 or 6 seasons, he wears these outfits that are jaw-droppingly 90s. Yeah, bowling alley carpets. Same kind of stuff that Mr. Smiley wears. I can definitely see people shipping Smiley and Frowny. They were definitely everything they said was readable as being about a relationship as much as it was about a comedy act. But at the same time, it was couched in a deniable way, which is interesting considering that the series has been pretty open about it having lesbian and bisexual female characters. We haven't really seen that with male characters at all. I think there might have been some background characters at some point, but we certainly haven't had any kind of story involving it. And it's interesting to me that we get a really deniable one here. I'm not sure what's going on there. But, I mean, honestly, that's about it for that episode. Honestly, it just wasn't very good. I found it a little boring. I feel like its attempts at humor just fell completely flat. And I don't mean, the intentionally bad jokes. I mean that, I think I was supposed to be laughing at Mr. Frowny, and instead I just found him boring. Yeah. Whatever they were going for, it didn't work for me. On the other hand, last one out of Beach City, now that was an episode. That was a blast. Not quite mindful education good, but super fun. I love that it was basically one big love letter to every comedy of the 80s. Pearl getting to come out of her shell was great fun. Reminding us that Pearl does have a rebellious side. There's a reason she was a crystal gem. But at the same time, the scene where she starts bemoaning that she's lost her edge because things didn't go according to plan. They instead went a much cooler direction. That was great. I love that, a kid's show isn't shying away from the idea that being cool can involve breaking the rules. I grew up in the wasteland of the 80s when every kid's show had to teach a positive pro-social message, by which they meant maintain the status quo, obey all rules. While the universe has actual positive social messages, which are not spelled out nearly so ham-fistedly, and are actual good stuff, like break the rules sometimes, and live, and be who you are, and, you know, acceptance for people who are different, and that kind of thing. Like, stuff that's just kind of part of the show naturally. Because it's, you know, being made by caring people who care about what they're doing, basically. But yeah, Pearl's moving on. You know, we saw the beginnings of that in Mr. Greg. That she's starting to accept the loss of Rose. Which I haven't really done the math. I made some kind of guesstimates in my head. And it's something like, you know, if Pearl and Rose's relationship were 50 years, then Greg showed up a week ago, Stephen was born like 3 days ago, and like that's how much time she's had to mourn. But I know it can't possibly be quite that simple, because even though they live for far longer, the brains of gems seem to work at the same speed as ours, you know? They talk at a comparable pace, which suggests that they experience and process at a comparable speed. So, not quite the same thing, but still. Regardless, she's starting to move on. She's drawn to someone who resembles Rose in a lot of ways. Which, you know, rebound. It can go like that. That's the one thing, is I honestly don't think there is, like, a future for Pearl and Mystery Girl. I'd be actually okay with her not showing up again. Simply because she would be Pearl's rebound. Like, it's still, I think, like, they could maybe explore a little bit that, like, Pearl latches onto her but has some of the same issues as she does with Steven, where, like, emotionally she has trouble keeping straight that this person is not Rose. They could explore that. That could be interesting. But I just don't think that, like, immediately after Rose's death, she starts dating someone who looks a lot like Rose. Like, that is not, I don't think, super healthy. Now, of course, I mean, it could just be that Pearl has a type. But even then, like, the similarity is pretty uncanny. The one thing I absolutely do not want to happen is that Mystery Girl turns out to be in some way, like, evil. Because that would just be garbage. I don't think they're going to go that route, though. Other than that, it was just a fun episode. Pearl had some great moments. I loved her fiddling with the apple juice can because she couldn't open it. I loved her, like, you know, I'm going to drink tonight. I loved, you know, her gunning it from the cops. Her, you know, I've been a criminal for 6,000 years. She was just, like, Pearl was just perfect tonight. The one other thing that I caught that's a little... her comment about how she's not a citizen when she's saying she doesn't have a license. You don't have to be a citizen to get a license. That's kind of important, actually. Because, like, there's a difference between citizen and legal resident, and residents need to be able to drive too. A, and B, yeah, actually she is a citizen. Anybody, according to the Constitution, anybody who was living in the United States as of 1790 is a citizen. So, yeah, actually, the gems are citizens. Because they've been living at the temple for who knows how long, but they were living there when Beach City was colonized, so presumably that was prior to the formation. Presumably that was prior to 1790, based on the way people were dressed and the fact that, Britain was colonizing the Americas and such. Speaking of that, I'm guessing Ocean Town is probably Ocean City, Maryland. No longer on fire. Cute. Which would make it south of Rehoboth Bay, where Beach City is supposed to be located. I know that kind of jibes strangely with the ocean being on their right as they're driving, but that's that can work if they were driving south along the coast, because if they came south from the Delaware coast, what would basically be the shortest route, they would have the ocean on both sides, because there'd be the Atlantic on their left and Chesapeake Bay on their right. So it works. It makes sense. And yeah, the whole no longer on fire thing. Wouldn't surprise me at all to find out that Rehoboth and Ocean City have some kind of a rivalry thing going, and that's what's being poked fun at here. If I remember correctly, Rebecca Sugar is from Rehoboth. I know she's from Delaware. And Rehoboth is a beach town on Rehoboth Beach. Beach City can't be Rehoboth because it's in an impossible location. There is nowhere in the real world where you can have the oceans positioned the way they are in that map of Beach City. But yeah, it's an equivalent basically. And Rehoboth and Ocean City wouldn't surprise me at all if they have some kind of a rivalry, because Ocean City is the big seaside resort town with the big boardwalk and all that stuff in this region. And Rehoboth is a much smaller one. The fun thing is Rehoboth is the one that has a reputation as the LGBT friendly one. So, kind of fits with the show. Oh, and the phone number. Obviously it's 555, so it can't be a real phone number, but 301 is a real area code, and it's around here. It's the Maryland suburbs of DC and the western half of Maryland. So it's not Ocean City, but it's that general, same state in the real world. In the Steven Universe world, who knows? Maryland might be a state separate from Delmarva, might not. But Ocean City is not on the Delmarva Peninsula, so probably not part of fictional Delmarva, but who knows? That's about it. That's about all I got. Got a bit rambly there, but whatever. And I will see you all next time. Bye.